Hello everyone, today I'll be going over a Darius game and a Riven game. Yesterday I hit 200 LP again, and honestly it's been quite a while since I last hit 200 plus LP because of just so many things happening in life. But I do think I have been improving, and this season is probably my best bet of hitting Grandmaster. With that being said, thank you all so much for your support throughout all these times, and make sure to like and subscribe. On to the video. Today we are up against a 400 something LP Darius. Darius is definitely not a fun matchup for Yone because you could easily get cooked. Generally, I like to go Ignite versus Darius, but I forgot why I brought TP this time. For runes, I'm going Bone Plating with Shield Bash. At least it's my standard rune pick. Starting the game though, I was a bit distracted, so I had to instantly react Q, but it didn't hit. But it's okay, no big deal. Moving on, this is slightly annoying because I expected him to start W, but it's Q, and honestly, it's a trend I've been seeing lately with Darius. You can choose how you play, there are many options, so taking this trade here is fine since we get level 2 first. If he has his Q, just maintain distance. We pretend we want to CS with Q by walking back and forth, then CS with W, which sort of got his Q out. If you go to Q3 him, make sure it's max range or else he pulls you, and in that specific position you'll probably have to flash out. In a wave state like this, we have TP so we can stay for a bit longer. Darius wasn't low or anything, so I was doubtful that he actually left. Even if he did, we could use wave plus level advantage to push in the second wave and base with more gold. Oddly enough, he chooses to all-in us from the bush, being a level down with Ghost. The only way Darius outtrades you is if he hits Sweet Spot with Q, and since he uses it randomly, we can just E into him. The flash was sort of unnecessary since we just trade flash and becomes sort of a forced play, but we got lucky and killed him. Well, not exactly. See, after we Q3 flash and auto attack, we move behind him so he would want to E us. Now if he landed this E, he would be able to say flash, but unfortunately for him, he wasn't able to land it. I should have TP'd earlier, but once again, I was distracted. Back to lane, the moment we see his E animation, we W to mitigate some damage. I could have been more aggressive here and kept chasing, so that's my bad, since he has no way of guaranteeing his Q, and we have E to run him down as well. Once again, E into his Q, and we get a second kill. It is a bit late for 4 daggers, but it also means if he makes even one mistake, we can easily run him down. I don't think it's good all the time, but you don't know how good it feels until you try it. Same thing as before, just E into his Q and we chunk his HP. After he uses Q, we look to trade again, but I W first to try and see how he would try and dodge, but slightly out of range. Now we can't chase him any further since he has E to pull us forward, and we would just get chunked and not get anything out of it. I think Darius knew we were trying to dive him in this position, so he forces upwards to stall the wave, but sadly for him, we just land Q3 and ult to finish him off. I rotated slightly late, but no big deal. I stayed for quite a while, so Darius is already back in lane. He expected us to base, so he hard shoves and we collect the wave. Since we had a big advantage, I thought it was fine to continue laning. Walk into him so he can't guarantee sweet spot with E. With 3 stacks of bleed, we will likely die if we let him get ult, since he only needs 2 more stacks to basically get all of our HP, and he still has flash and other the stuff, which makes it very difficult for us. So instead, what we should do is just to run away with E until the stacks wear off. And we were lucky since the moment he used E, we were able to drag away. Well, it was kind of a prediction, but you know. With that, we were able to fully deal with his engage and he no longer has ghosts. But at this HP now, we want to stack Q3 and dive him. However, he uses Q to CS, so we run him down. Accidentally messed up Q flash somehow, but you know what? It worked in the end, so whatever. And we finally ult, where he flashes to kill him. This caught me off guard, but if I used D earlier, there was a slight chance that we traded, or I even killed. No big deal though, since we still have TP after all. After freezing for a while, we finally find the chance to poke him, but don't greed since he will just pull us and Q if we stay any longer. Now I just shove waves non-stop for plates, but note here, ever since the E changes on Yone, Yone can only cleanse Zoe bubble if you are unstoppable when the bubble procs. After rotating for a fight, we search for him. He finally learned his lesson and instantly flashes. I had a feeling he was still here, so I EQ into the bush to test, but unfortunately he gets his sweet spot Q and survives. Fiesta breaks out afterwards, but we are significantly stronger. We siege top with Herald and just dive him yet again. After shield bow though, it is significantly harder for Darius to kill you since he can't execute you as easily. At this point though, the game is basically over, so I'll just show you some highlights and we'll move on to the next game.